Welcome, dearest viewers, to Sheikh Hamdan's Fans official channel, your trusted space for the most authentic updates, heartfelt stories, and royal insights. Today, we bring you something deeper than tradition, more stirring than ceremony, a moment of vulnerability from none other than Sheikh Hamdan himself. In a rare emotional expression, he has shared a poignant poem on his Instagram, captivating the hearts of millions. But there's more to this poem than mere words. There's pain, love, and untold truth hidden between the lines. The poem, written in Arabic and laced with sorrow, reflects a side of Sheikh Hamdan that we seldom see. It's a side stripped of titles and guarded appearances, a man who's deeply hurt, yet noble in his silence. Today, we bring you the exclusive English translation of this heartfelt verse, a poetic lament that has stirred speculation and emotion alike. As always, we approach his words with great respect and interpret them through the lens of love, loyalty, and longing. What makes this poem truly extraordinary is who it's addressed to. While Sheikh Hamdan never mentions a name directly, the title, "Someone Broke My Heart," already echoes with personal pain. Fans and followers around the world are whispering one name, Sheikh Thani. Yes, the woman who officially holds the title of his wife, but perhaps not the one who holds his entire heart. Could this be a poetic call to her, or is it a mirror held up to the past? As we delve into the lines of this stunning poem, it becomes clear, it's layered with longing and an unhealed wound. He writes of a presence that once made his world blossom, only to vanish like a mirage in the desert. He speaks of loyalty, betrayal, and a love that was sacrificed, not by fate but by force. The deeper we read, the clearer it becomes. This poem is not just about heartbreak, it's a cry from the soul. Among Sheikh Hamdan's fans, there's one name that resurfaces time and again, Hadia Zen. Her story, though shrouded in mystery, has touched many hearts. She was believed to be the muse of many of his earlier writings, a woman who shared his passion for poetry, horses, and freedom. Many still say her presence lingers in his verses, her spirit entwined with his soul. She was more than a chapter, she was the ink of his poetry. But fate took a different turn. According to close sources and whispers from within the palace walls, Sheikh Thani did not welcome this bond. It is said that she pressured Hadia to leave Dubai, forcing a distance that neither time nor status could heal. And now, this poem seems to be the echo of that wound, a royal heart bruised by personal war, aching for what was lost without farewell. One of the most striking lines in the poem translates to, "You turned my stars into shadows, yet I still searched for your light." Such haunting beauty cannot come from fiction. These are the words of a man still chasing a love that refuses to die. Could it be that Sheikh Hamdan still writes for Hadia, that his silence all these years has been filled with unsaid verses, reserved only for her? Let us not forget, this isn't just a personal story. It reflects the painful intersection of love and duty, a burden carried by many in royal families. When personal happiness clashes with royal expectation, it's often love that bears the cost. Sheikh Hamdan's poem reminds us that even those in palaces can have hearts shattered like glass. The public reaction has been overwhelming. Thousands of fans have flooded the comments with messages of support, interpretations, and their own heartbreak stories. People from every corner of the globe are connecting with the emotion in the poem. It has become more than just a royal confession, it's a collective release of pain, a reminder that love, in any form, is universal. As we read these words, we must also remember the woman behind the silence, Hadia Zen. Was she the casualty of politics, or a quiet rebel who chose to walk away for love's dignity? Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain, she still resides in Sheikh Hamdan's poetry. And perhaps, that's where love lives forever, in the lines we dare to write, but never say aloud. To Sheikh Thani, this poem may feel like a whisper of regret, or a challenge to her position. It is a reminder that love cannot be forced into royal moldings. And to Sheikh Hamdan, it is a brave act, to expose his heart while the world watches. It is both a farewell and a longing, a confession written in silence and sealed with sorrow. Sheikh Thani, despite the growing whispers and emotional turbulence, remains an incredibly complex and dignified figure within the royal circle. Many who know her personally describe her as poised, elegant, and highly intelligent, a woman of tradition yet not without her own voice. She is deeply invested in her family, devoted to her role as a royal consort, and admired by many for her strength and clarity. Her kindness in charitable circles, her refinement in public appearances, and her devotion to her children all paint the image of a graceful royal, loyal to her role and responsibilities. Sheikh Thani's strength lies not just in her silence but in her sharp intellect. Behind her composed appearance is a woman who reads people like pages in a book. She is not easily swayed, and she is not naive. She understands deeply that being a wife to a man like Sheikh Hamdan comes with shadows, echoes of a past he carries quietly. Yet, she chooses not to speak publicly or confront emotions directly. Instead, she controls her space with quiet command, making it clear, her position is non-negotiable, her dignity untouchable. What many do not see is that Sheikh Thani's love is fiercely protective. Her loyalty to her husband is not passive, it is strategic. She does everything to protect their image, their family, their name. But with that same loyalty comes her most guarded instinct, the unwillingness to share. Whether it is a memory, a whisper, or a poem laced with another woman's presence, she sees it all. And she understands that to hold her place in Sheikh Hamdan's life, she must never allow room for another spirit, even if it comes wrapped in poetry. This is where the emotional struggle grows most profound. Because while Sheikh Thani fulfills her role with grace and exceptional intelligence, she cannot unsee what is felt rather than said. She sees the reflection of Hadiya Zen in his writings, the ache behind his quiet moments, the longing in his pauses. And though she remains silent in public, within the private spaces of the palace, she rules with a subtle firmness that lets everyone know, the past is not welcome here. Her intuition is legendary among the palace staff. It is said that she can sense tension before it is spoken, detect emotions through subtle glances. Her sharp mind keeps her steps ahead of everyone, and perhaps that is what unsettled Hadiya. Despite the emotional wall she maintains, Sheikh Thani is beloved by many for her generosity. She supports countless humanitarian causes, uplifts women's education, and quietly funds orphan initiatives in the region. These deeds are rarely publicized, yet they are the foundation of her inner strength. Her goodness is genuine, but she draws a hard line when it comes to emotional territory. She may open her heart to the world, but not to a rival, not even in memory. What's perhaps most remarkable is that Sheikh Thani's intelligence is not just emotional, it's political. She understands the weight of every word spoken by a royal. She knows how to navigate diplomacy, how to maintain alliances within and outside the family. And it is precisely this awareness that makes her formidable. She is not just a wife, she is a strategist, a guardian of image, and a quiet force behind the throne. Her mind works in silence, but it echoes across the corridors of power. She is not without emotion, but she is a master of self-preservation. To outsiders, she appears composed, calm, almost indifferent to the emotional storms that swirl around Sheikh Hamdan. But insiders know better. They've seen her eyes catch the screen when a poem is posted. They've noticed the rare clenched jaw, the quiet conversations behind closed doors. She feels everything, but she chooses when and how to respond, never reacting on impulse. Sheikh Thani does not fear Hadiya's ghost, she simply refuses to entertain it. In her view, love must evolve. If Sheikh Hamdan still writes about a past, then she will answer with a present, a better image, a stronger bond, a more loyal household. Her response is never confrontation, it is excellence. She ensures that no shadow can outshine her light. She becomes the standard that cannot be rivaled, the presence so commanding that even absence cannot compete. Sheikh Thani moved through the palace halls like a queen in her own right, not just by blood, but by presence. Her lineage afforded her power, but it was her intellect that amplified it. Where others relied solely on their titles, she wielded hers like a sharpened sword, cutting through diplomatic stalemates, commanding boardrooms, and orchestrating social events that blended elegance with quiet influence. She didn't just belong to the royal family, she redefined what it meant to wear that name. Understanding the intricate web of alliances and expectations that governed her world, Sheikh Thani mastered the art of graceful manipulation. Her words were always chosen with precision, her silences even more deliberate. Whether dealing with foreign dignitaries or internal family politics, she positioned herself not as a passive heir, but as a strategist. Every move she made was calculated to enhance her stature while maintaining the polished image expected of a royal. Publicly, Sheikh Thani embodied grace, charity, and tradition. Privately, she was a force of reform cloaked in silks. She used her access not for indulgence but to open doors for women, sponsor education, and influence legislation from behind palace walls. Her designation was more than a symbol, it was a key she turned carefully, unlocking corridors of power many had never even seen. Unlike others who inherited influence and wasted it on extravagance, Sheikh Thani saw her role as a responsibility. She leveraged her visibility to champion causes that mattered to her: culture, literacy, and the empowerment of future generations. Her social media presence was as meticulously curated as her public appearances, presenting a modern royal image, deeply rooted in heritage but unafraid to evolve. In every council meeting, gala, or state function, Sheikh Thani was more than just a royal figurehead, she was a symbol of deliberate, dignified power. Even those who underestimated her were eventually forced to reckon with the subtle brilliance of her influence. She never had to shout to be heard. Her name, her heritage, and most importantly, her choices spoke louder than words ever could. Sheikh Thani had long understood that true influence wasn't just inherited, it was cultivated. Her royal status opened doors, but it was her vision that kept them open. In high-level meetings, her presence commanded silent respect. When she spoke, ministers and monarchs alike leaned in, aware that behind her poised demeanor lay a mind sharpened by tradition and ambition. She didn't need to remind the world of her title. It was evident in the way she moved, the decisions she made, and the legacy she was quietly shaping with every step. In the end, Sheikh Thani's story is not one of jealousy, but of power, resilience, and vision. She does not beg for affection, she shapes it. She does not chase hearts, she earns loyalty. And though the world reads Sheikh Hamdan's poems as cries of the past, Sheikh Thani reads them as reminders of the work ahead. She may not erase memories, but she ensures they never define the future. In a palace built of both poetry and politics, she is the steady hand that turns pages, even the painful ones. As we close this emotional segment, we invite you to share your thoughts, interpretations, and heartfelt reactions in the comments. What does this poem say to you? Could this be a turning point in Sheikh Hamdan's journey, or merely a poetic release of long-held pain? Don't forget to subscribe for more intimate updates and deep dives into royal life. This is not just a story, it's a heartbeat behind the crown. Stay with